What's up and welcome back to the Bryce Is Right Sportscast. I'm your host, Bryce Dawson. This is episode 2 and today's date is Sunday, April 15th. Oh, goodness gracious. Big week for Boston sports again. Celtics, I believe, are in overtime right now. Chris Middleton just hit a circus shot to send it to overtime for the Bucks. Bruins are absolutely dominating the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I will dive headfirst into that today. The Red Sox lost to the Yankees once, lost twice all year. They're still rolling, even though Xander went down with an injury. They happen. It's better to have it earlier in the year than during the pennant race, really. I mean, I'd rather have him down now, get him healthy for summer when he's going to be hitting the shit out of the ball still. So, oh goodness, a lot to cover today for sure. Gonna be solo though, so it's gonna be a quick one. I'll try to convince a couple of my roommates to come in and say a few kind words to the podcast. Big shout out to everybody who listened last week. Also a humongous shout out to the Post U baseball coaching staff, Ricks, Pop, Squeaks, Julian, Pack. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. Thank you guys for listening. I promise the quality will be better this time so you guys can listen to the whole entire thing. So, went to the Bruins game on Thursday night. Went to game 1 with my dad. It was the most surreal experience I think I've ever experienced in my entire life. The atmosphere of the whole entire building once we got off the train and got into North Station, even like the train terminal was just fucking buzzing. It was nuts. And then hanging around, obviously got there about 5 o'clock, stopped at the bar there with my dad. He got a few beers. I was sitting there packing a dip. And naturally, I'm going to be asking him what his prediction for the game would be, and he was actually pretty spot on. He got the first goal correct. I'll actually play it for you.
First goal of the game tonight.
First goal of the game?
Yep.
I love it.
They need it.
Who scored the first goal?
Brad Marchand. He's on the edge.
I love it.
He's on the edge right now.
So, Lee Dawson, absolute fucking savage. Got the final score wrong. He said 4-2. It was 5-1. But hey, I'll take 5 goals. The place was just nuts. So once we got in there, I mean, just like people were chanting, "Let's go Bruins," from probably the time the doors opened until the game was over. I mean, walking down back into the train station, people were still going nuts and everything. On the 5th goal, a guy 3 rows behind me actually fell down 3 rows and landed like in my seat. So that was pretty funny. Me and the big Lee had to fucking help him up, get back up there, and then the celebration continued, that's for sure. But boy, do they look fucking good. Toronto Maple Leafs are a good-ass hockey team, and the Bruins are just shitting all over their fucking lives in the first 2 games. 5-1 the first game, obviously. Tuukka looked great. Made a couple big saves when he had to, and Toronto was buzzing in the second period. Made a couple timely stops on the power play. But, I mean, just the team defense for the Bruins and the attacking zone presence for them is just unmatched. They're winning every single board battle, it seems. They're winning races to pucks, even though Toronto's a faster squad than them. They're out-muscling them. They're playing a heavier game than they played in the regular season, and I think that plays a lot better for the playoffs for them because they got guys who can bang. You got DeBrusk on the second line and Rick Nash on the second line flanking Krejci. And then the first line is just – it's the best line in hockey. I've said it all year, and I will continue to say it until somebody proves me otherwise. I don't care who they go up against. They shut down Austin Matthews, who is a world-class center, in game 1. I mean, he had a little more of a presence game 2. He might have had a point. I'm not exactly sure. But I mean, the line stats for them is just ridiculous. I think Marshy has a goal and 5 assists. Berge has 5 assists, something like that. And Pasta has 4 goals and 5 assists. So that whole first line is Pasta's figured in on 9 of the 12 goals that they scored, which is absolutely preposterous. That man is just a force to be reckoned with. He is actually the youngest player to ever record 6 points in a playoff game, which he did game 2. Had a hat trick and 3 assists. He did it younger than Wayne Gretzky, and obviously Wayne Gretzky is the best forward to ever play hockey. And Bergeron just continues to be Patrice Bergeron, really. I mean, he's just dominating in the defensive zone. He's dominating the offensive zone. He's making the smart plays. He's winning face-offs, even though he's been kicked out a few times, kicked out of the face-off circle probably 5 or 6 times, which is more I've seen in a 2-game stretch for him than I actually have ever seen for him. So it's a little weird. He's trying to, I guess they're adjusting the face-offs for the playoffs, which I think is pretty stupid. But, the defense looks good. Torrey Krug is a force to be reckoned with on the blue line on the offensive end. Chara's Chara. McAvoy's getting his legs back underneath him after his MCL sprain, which is huge to have him back to eat up minutes. And Kevin Miller, who I wanted to launch into the fucking sun last year because I hated him so bad, he turned into a dominant top 4 defenseman. He is tremendous. He wins board battles. He got faster. He passes the puck better. And he still bangs along the glass, and he'll still kick the fuck out of someone. So that's what you need. You need that in the playoffs. You need that grit in the playoffs, even though I dislike to use that word. But they're something else. And I hate how people are all blaming Tuukka for how they haven't been how they missed the playoffs 2 straight years and how they got knocked out the first round last year. But Tuukka Rask has the 4th best save percentage in NHL history in the playoffs. So he's pretty fucking good, to say that. But, I mean, I haven't watched much of any other teams. I've seen, I know Tampa Bay's up 2-0 against New Jersey. Columbus is up 1-0 on Washington. No big surprise there because Washington folds under the fucking pressure of playoffs, which is a shame because they have the best talent of my generation, Alex Ovechkin, on their team, and it's a shame because he probably won't win a Stanley Cup with them, which is ridiculous. The Penguins and Flyers are tied 1-1 after the Penguins kicked the piss out of the Flyers game 1. The Flyers came back and did the same thing to Pittsburgh in game 2. So that series is moving back to Philly. I know Nashville's up 2-0 over the Avalanche, and the Avalanche are another good young team. Winnipeg's up 2-0. San Jose's up 2-0. Going back home, too. They won 2 straight on the road in Anaheim, which is huge. So I think that puts them in the driver's seat in that series for sure, going up 2-0 back home. I mean, it's a dream scenario in the playoffs to split when you're on the road. Because then you get home ice, go up 3-1 if you win 2 straight. And they managed to take 2 against a good Anaheim Ducks team for sure. What else? But honestly, I will take this Bruins team in any matchup over any team in the NHL right now. They are just dominating in every facet of the game. Team defense, offense, all lines are rolling right now. The 4th line is the 4th line. They just go out there and bang and create scoring chances for them, and defense is doing their job. But I think I want to say Bruins in 5. I think Toronto's going to put up a good fight tomorrow night at home, their first home playoff game of the year. It's always tough going up there, but I think the Bruins will play another great game. I mean, they are just skating circles around the Leafs right now, I think. So it's a fun time to be a Boston sports fan for sure, especially with the Sox rolling, Bees obviously rolling, Celtics doing their thing, even though they might not make it past the second round. They might not make it out of the first round, but they're young. So, and they don't have their two best players playing right now because they're both out for the year. So we'll see. We'll see with them, but this town is for sure a hockey town in the spring when the Bruins are relevant, playing in the playoffs and everything. And I think the Bruins will have a stranglehold on Boston and the rest of the NHL for the foreseeable future. To be completely honest, I think they're going to take over the Patriots personally as the team in Boston that everybody's going to be obsessed with. Everybody's going to be wanting to go to games, which sucks because that means ticket prices are going to go through the roof, and they're already expensive enough. But two dominating wins, really. 5-1, 7-3. Tuukka stood on his head last night, that's for sure. He made some big saves coming down the stretch when Toronto found their legs in the second period. Even though it was 4-0 after one, Toronto they scored a minute and 38 seconds into the second, I believe. Cut it to 4-1, and then the Bruins just made it 5-1, and they just kept putting it out of reach whenever Toronto got within 3. So it's just a fun time to be a Bruins fan for sure. Going on to the Sox now. I mean, they're almost in the Bruins territory right now, where they're just dominating everything right now. They've lost 2 games all year. They're off to the best start in their franchise history, and they've been around for over 100 years, obviously. But it's fun. They're fun to watch. Even Mookie got hurt yesterday. X-rays on his foot were negative, so that's good. I don't think a DL stint for him is likely. Bogarts had a non-displaced fracture in his ankle or foot on a play where he slid into the opposing team's dugout to stop a ball from going in there and letting a run score, which actually proved to be huge because they ended up coming back and winning that game. And if that run scored, it might have put it out of reach. They were already down 5 at that point. So, and they came back and scored 8 in the 6th and won 8-7. So, big play by Bogarts, but it was a freak injury. Slid into the dugout, went down the steps, stood up, and then twisted his ankle or something like that. Obviously, there's no cameras in the dugout steps, so you can't really see where or how he did it. But it was just one of those freak plays where shit just happens. I mean, it's sports, so people get hurt, but it's they're rolling right now. JD Martinez is hitting the shit out of the baseball. He's starting to heat up. Hanley has, I think, an 11-game hit streak. Chris Sale is still throwing the shit out of the baseball. Benintendi's starting to come around and hit the baseball like he can, and obviously a great defensive guy out in the outfield. And even Jackie Bradley's starting to hit the baseball too, which is huge, because if they can have if Jackie Bradley could hit 260, he would be one of the best outfielders in the league, because he's got power, and he's already the best defensive outfielder in the game, and it's an absolute crime that he hasn't won a Gold Glove yet, because he is that good out there. But the pitching staff is good. Craig Kimbrell looks like Craig Kimbrell coming off of the spring that he had. I mean, I wasn't down in Fort Myers much because of his daughter's sick, so he was back and forth for most of the time. Didn't get a lot of action down there, but he's throwing 98 miles an hour and shutting guys down in the ninth like he's paid to do. So it's good to see that. What else? I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez had his first start coming off the DL of the year. Looked pretty good. I believe that was when we were recording last week. He actually got pulled, and then he had another start this week, and he looked good in that one against Baltimore. I think he gave up 3 earned or something like that. The Red Sox won 10-3. They won 10-3 again yesterday. Hanley and JD both hit home runs. JD finally beat the right field fence in Fenway, which will be a probably almost nightly occurrence for him. Man, it's got ridiculous opposite field power, especially once the weather starts warming up. Balls are just going to absolutely fly out of Fenway like they always do in the warm weather. So the Red Sox they're in good shape right now, even with two of their best players down right now. Um, but they had a big scare with David Price against the Yankees. Gave up 4 runs in the first, and then came out of the game because he had like a tingling sensation in his hand. Couldn't really feel his fingers. But that was just the beginning of that night. Like, Jesus Christ. And then you got fucking Joe Kelly coming in, hitting Tyler Austin after he had a dirty slide at second base against Brock Holt, trying to break up a double play. And the thing that people don't realize about that at bat is Kelly threw 2 absolutely nasty sliders. That one dropped in for a strike and one missed just low, and then he tried to hit him twice with fastballs and hit him on the second one and absolutely just unzipped his pants and let the wiener flop out and said, "Hey, come out here and fucking get it." And there was a nice little brawl going on at Fenway. Benches cleared twice, especially against the Yankees. I mean, you can't really ask for much. I think the rivalry's starting to heat up again. I wouldn't consider it back yet because it's the first time in a bit that they've really been both been really good at the same time. Obviously, the Yankees are a talented club struggling right now, but you got to know that Stanton's going to hit 40 bombs this year. Judge is going to hit 40 bombs this year. Sanchez is going to hit 40 bombs this year. So they're going to be a tough team down the road, that's for sure. The only thing suspect about them is their starting rotation and their bullpen. I mean, they have all the talent in the world in the bullpen, but they just can't really seem to put it together. I mean, it's almost baffling because they have so many superstars out there, multiple guys that throw triple digits, like the hardest throwing bullpen in the league, and they can't really figure their shit out, to be completely honest. Which is it's good. It's good if you're a Red Sox fan, bad if you're a Yankees fan. So it's gonna heat up to be a good race. I think obviously the Yankees are in win now mode. Same with the Red Sox. Well, the Red Sox have the highest payroll in the MLB, so obviously they're going for it. But you got to believe that the Yankees are gonna end up trading for some starting pitching help, like they tried to in the offseason. Whiffed on Garrett Cole, whiffed on Ohtani, whiffed on Yu Darvish, and those last 2 who were free agents. So you gotta know Cashman's gonna probably already thinking of something, eyeing somebody on a team that's not gonna be that great this year, trying to pry their stud pitcher away for fucking probably 2 shitty prospects and a guy on the major league roster that probably won't even play. So he's got that knack. I mean, Derek Jeter's a fraud because of the trade for Stanton. They gave up Starlin Castro. That's it. Basically, they gave up 2 C-level prospects at the best for the National League MVP, which is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it's gonna be a good race once it starts heating up. Once the Yankees start doing their thing, Red Sox are gonna keep doing their thing. I think they're gonna be. I honestly think they're the team to beat in the AL East. Obviously, with them being the back-to-back division champions, I mean, it's tough to come into a season after the Yankees are ahead of schedule, that's for sure. And then they come in, they get Stanton, they're automatically the favorites, even though they did nothing to bolster their pitching staff. They got Luis Severino at the top, who can't seem to figure out his shit consistently. The man throws 100 miles an hour and he's a starter, and he can't piece together 4 or 5 good starts in a row, which is it's something else to have that amount of talent and not be able to pitch the way you're supposed to. But I'm sure he'll figure it out just like the rest of the guys that are struggling on the Yankees. So, but I think the Sox are playing right now. I'll give you a quick update on them. Go on the ESPN app. Nope, I don't want that. Let's look at scores. Yep, Sox actually won 3-1 today. So Chris Sale pitched well again. I'll get you a stat line. So Sale went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 8 Ks. ERA's 1.23. So that's pretty good. Kimbrel had 2 strikeouts and 9 for the saves. ERA is still 0, hasn't let up a run. Red Sox bullpen is actually starting to figure their shit out too after that fucking catastrophe in Game 1 of the year against the Rays, where they gave up 6 or 7 runs in the 8th inning, and that ballooned everybody's ERA that pitched. Joe Kelly's actually throwing the baseball really well right now, especially after that day, after opening day. Matt Barnes is doing his thing, which I'm just glad he's not in the 8th inning role like he was last year, because he's definitely not a setup guy. Carson Smith is coming around. He's getting that sinker going again and that slider, and once he gets in a groove, him and Kimbrel back to back are going to be borderline unhittable. Very tough to score on, but you got to think Chris Sale has got to be under his bonnet this year. He said he worked hard in the offseason to not have a late season struggles like he's had in his career, especially like last year. I mean, he had the Cy Young locked up until Corey Kluber came back from the DL and had a ridiculous last 2 months of the year. But I think Chris Sale is definitely one of the best pitchers in the game, and it's nice to have him on the Red Sox, that's for sure. I also think the Celtics just won in overtime. They did. Beat the Bucks 113-107 in Game 1, so they're up 1-0 in their series. Al Horford actually led the way for the season. Points, dropped 24, 5 of 8 shooting, 13 of 14 from the line, so taking care of the charity stripe, which is nice. And then for the Bucks, Giannis had 35, so he's a damn good basketball player, that's for sure. But the Celtics are very interesting to me. They're so young. I mean, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Jaylen Brown are leading this team right now. With Kyrie and Gordon Hayward both sidelined for the year right now, so it's good to have Tatum and Brown getting valuable playoff minutes right now and showing what they can really do in the spotlight, how they do when they're the guys on the team. And I really think it's going to benefit them down the road, because this is going to be good experience for them. Granted, like I said before, I don't know if they'll get out of the first round. I don't know. I don't expect them to get past the second round, but you never know. Basketball's crazy. But the Celtics are going to be a good basketball team for the next few years. That's for sure. Especially when Hayward comes back, Kyrie comes back full health. With those two guys, I think it's a very good basketball team. But their biggest issue is rebounding. Obviously, they haven't had a guy that can rebound in years, and it's almost like the Giants in the sense that they haven't had a running game or a fucking linebacker. They haven't had a good linebacker since Antonio Pierce retired in fucking 2009. They never had a running game since Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw left. So it's been solid amount of time for them. But they'll be good. I think this is going to be a good thing for them. This is going to be a good learning experience for a lot of the guys on the team, and hopefully set them up down the road for a couple good runs in the next few years, and get them back in the winner's circle like they did in 08 with KG, Ray Allen, and Pierce. Get Banner 18 up there in the Garden. But yeah. But I didn't talk about the Giants last week at all, actually. I don't have any fucking clue who they are going to draft in 2 weeks. Like, zero clue. No idea whatsoever. I've heard so many different things. I've seen that Buffalo wants to trade up to 5 or 6 and then trade up to 2 with the Giants. Giants drop down to 5 or 6. Collect a second-round pick this year and Buffalo's first-round pick next year. But I don't know if they'll stay at 2. If they do stay at 2, I don't know who they'll pick. I saw a thing come out today that they think Saquon Barkley is a perfect prospect. They compared him to Ezekiel Elliott, but without the character issues. So if they could get him, that would be great. But I don't want him. I mean, it's not that I don't want him. I don't think it's a major need right now. But yes, obviously having a generational running back would be awesome. But I don't want to waste a generational running back talent, basically, with this offensive line that they have, because their offensive line is still a dumpster fire, even though they signed Nate Solder, pried him away from the Patriots, and it's moving Eric Flowers to right tackle, see if he'll be fine over there like he was in college. But excuse me, it's just going to be it's going to be an interesting draft for the Giants. I mean, they have a lot of pieces on the offensive end that are very, very, very good. Obviously, they have, I think, the best wide receiver in the NFL, Odell Beckham Jr. They got Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Brandon Marshall, if he's healthy, will be good. And the defense has all the pieces, too, even though they just traded away JPP. They still have Olivier Vernon, Snacks, Dallin Tomlinson. B.J. Goodson's going to be a good inside linebacker for them when they switch to the 3-4 defense. And they've got Jack Rabbit, Landon Collins, and Eli Apple on the back end. So, they have all the talent in the world. They just need to piece it together. And I think Pat Schumer, the new head coach for them, is gonna do that for them. I think he's gonna bring the offense to a new level, and will finally score 30 points for the first time in 2 years, which is pathetic. But my dream draft scenario is take a quarterback at the 2 pick, because how often do you go from a franchise quarterback, Eli Manning, to another franchise quarterback? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all, especially when you can draft that rookie this year, have him learn under Eli, the best quarterback in Giants history, guy that's won 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I mean, that's valuable for a rookie. Granted, they do have Davis Webb, but he's a 3rd-round pick, and I think 5% of 3rd to 6th round picks that are quarterbacks come out to be elite starting quarterbacks. I mean, obviously Tom Brady, 199th pick, best quarterback ever to play the game, but that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, it just doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't. So I think the Giants will make the right decision, choose a quarterback. Choose a quarterback at 2. Hopefully it's Josh Rosen, because I think he's the most NFL ready out of the bunch. But if Darnold's there, they seem to love Sam Darnold, and he's a very raw talent. He could be a superstar in this league. He's got all the attributes. Just had turnover problems at USC the last couple of years. So it's gonna be interesting for sure, because if they take Rosen or Darnold at 2, there's still going to be a good running back available and offensive lineman available at the top of the 2nd round where they are. They have 4 picks in the top 70. So they can get 4 of the top 70 players coming out this year, which is humongous. Hopefully get a couple day 1 starters with it. But I would love for them to go with either Darius Geis in the 2nd round or Billy Price, an offensive lineman. Darius Geis is a running back from LSU. He's very good. Took over for Leonard Fournette last year, ran for over 1,000 yards back-to-back years. Billy Price was a starter at center for Ohio State, which he's going to switch over to guard when he comes to the NFL if he gets drafted by a team that already has a center, which the Giants do. So it's a good time to be a Giants fan. I think they're right on the cusp of becoming a very good football team again. And it's especially nice for me because I think personally that the downfall of the New England Patriots is coming very soon. Especially with all that turmoil they had last year, the ESPN article that came out. I don't know how much truth was to that, but still, if an article comes out like that, there's got to be some sort of truth to it. So I just think it's a good time to be, especially for me, a sports fan, like my teams that I like. It's a great time to be a sports fan. It's always good to be a sports fan. It's good when your teams are good, and 3 of the 4 that I like are good now. So it's nice, and Alabama spring practice is going on. They've had a couple scrimmages. Tua's back in the lineup after breaking his hand on the first practice, I think, of the spring. So that's good. They're going to be filthy again. Their offensive line is solid. They've got a 3-headed monster in the backfield with Najee Harris, who's going to be a sophomore, Damian Harris, who's going to be a senior, and Josh Jacobs, who's also going to be, I think he's going to be a junior, actually. Is he going to be? Yeah, he's going to be a junior. and they're going to have the best running backs in the country, the best running back trio in the country, that's for sure. They lost Calvin Ridley, obviously, to the draft, but they've got Jerry Jeudy, Devonta Smith, Henry Ruggs. So they're going to be set coming up here in the fall, and the defense is going to be the defense. Granted, they lose guys every year to the draft. They lose first rounders every single year to the draft off that defense, and losing how many starters? So Minka Fitzpatrick, safety, Ronnie Harrison, safety, Tony Brown, cornerback, Anthony Averett, cornerback, Levi Wallace, cornerback, Sean Dion Hamilton, linebacker, Sean Evans, linebacker, a couple D linemen, Deron Payne, Josh Frazier, Deshaun Hand. So I mean, those are all marquee names in college football right there that are going to the next, making the step to the next level. But they've got guys that can step right in and take over, and hopefully win back-to-back championships again for them, which would be humongous. Just further solidify that Nick Saban is the best college football coach ever. So yeah. Another thing I want to add, if anybody listening has any sort of questions that they want to ask that I could hopefully answer, just add something towards the end, be more than happy to do that. If anybody that I'm close with or anybody that I know in general wants to be a guest at any time, whether they call in, we do FaceTime or something, I put you up to the mic. Just shoot the shit like that, or over the summer, especially for my friends at home, people at home, if they want to come on during the summer, probably do once a week during the summer. It's going to be a little more tough because I'll be working and everything, but I'll still have the weekends off to do it. Probably record on Sunday, drop on Monday type of deal like I'm doing now. But yeah, I really appreciate all of you guys listening. It really means a lot to me. This is a fun thing for me. It's a fun thing to add to the year. Appreciate you guys listening, because the more listens I get, the more downloads I get, the more it makes me want to do it. Granted, I wanted to do it to begin with, and I didn't know how many downloads I would get in my first one, and I think, let me look. Last time I looked, I had like 108, I think, which is unreal. It was a humongous surprise to me. So 115 downloads on last week's episode. So thank you to the 115 people that have listened and downloaded. No matter how long you listened, I know last week's was 50 minutes, and that's a long time to listen, but I appreciate it. And tell your friends. I mean, if you know somebody that's a big sports person or just likes to listen to this sort of shit, tell them about it. Mean a lot to me. So follow me on Twitter at @bdawson30. Follow me on Instagram at @bdawson66. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much. Have a good Sunday and a good week.